Good evening, everyone. My name is Rishabh Gupta, and I'm working in Rights Limited as Junior Manager in Tunneling Design. So, here I am to present my topic, which is Analysis and Design of Arc-Shaped Cut and Cover Tunnels for our CITA 2021 event. So, first of all, I would like to tell you about the content of my presentation. Firstly, I would be discussing about the need of the study. Secondly, a case study which I have taken from our recent project is been taken. Thirdly, the objectives. Fourth, the geology of the concerned area. Fifth is the factor affecting the tunnel analysis. Sixth is the procedure considered for the analysis. Seventh is the results. And finally, I would be telling about the construction methodologies that we have proposed for this concerned tunnel. And finally, I would conclude. So, firstly, why is this study needed? As we know that structures can be broadly divided into two type of structures. That is, one is underground and other is surface structures. In surface structures, inertial forces plays a major role, whereas in underground, deformations and strains imposed on the structure are by the surrounding ground. Both the structures have different analysis and different type of loads acting on it. So here what I would be doing is I would be considering the underground structures, and I would be doing the same analysis with the same amount of loading on two types of configurations of a tunnel, and I would be concluding that how the forces, the bending stresses, the axial stresses, how they change with the change in configuration of tunnel. So here I would be doing a detailed comparison between the two shapes of tunnel, that is rectangular and circular. Not circular, it is basically arc shaped on the upper part, and it is more or less uh, U shaped in the lower inward part. And how it is depicted that how by using suitable configuration of tunnel we can optimize the reinforcement requirement and also the durability of structure is enhanced. So the case study that I am considering is the recent project that we have completed, and that was for conducting field surveys, topographic survey and geological mapping and fixing of alignment preparation with the detailed drawings for the stretch of Manabad Jati to Maligoda. And this section is of KK line of Voltaire Division East Coast Railway that majorly covers the eastern states of India. So the total stretch of this project is lies from Jharti to Maligoda, and we have the total length of around 2 kilometers through this stretch, and we have 6 tunnels lying in this region. So among the 6 tunnels, T2 and T3 are proposed to be constructed by cut and cover methodology, which I will be telling you in the later half that why we are considering T2 and T3 for this cut and cover methodology. Also, the region, where if I talk about the region, then the doubling of this line will be helping for capacity augmentation and contribution to growth of this region, and Vishakhapatnam and Gangavaram ports that are very nearby to this line. Vizag steel plants and future steel plants and ore mining projects in Chhattisgarh will also contribute to economic growth and boost to this region. Now, the objectives of my presentation is to study the effect of shape and configuration of the tunnels on the developed load and stresses. Secondly, I would be discussing about the study of the overt arc tunnel in place of conventional tunnel, which I will be comparing it with the two different ARIA FA models and the STATPO software. RS2 model I would be using for overt shape cut and cover, and for rectangular I would be considering STATPO. And fourthly, I would be talking about the optimization, the excavation for reducing environmental loss and to have minimum impact to existing flora and fauna. Fifth, I would be highlighting the construction challenges that would be acquired during this proposal and the solution for risk mitigation associated with these proposals. So these are the total 6 tunnel lengths, in which T1 is 320 meters, T2 is 340, T3 is 260, T40, T4 is 320, and T5 is 300, and T6 is 330. Out of these 6 tunnels, we have considered T2 and T3 for cut and cover. That is majorly due to the existing tunnel is also cut and cover to this region. We know that the existing tunnel is basically offsetting the proposed line with 30-meter offset, and this existing tunnel, which is also an cut and cover tunnel, has slope stability issues, and the overburden is very low. So therefore, NATM is not recommended for T2 and T3. Also, the location is countered with frequent slope failures. Therefore, considering future aspect also, cut and cover technique is recommended. Now, the geology of this area. Now, as we know that this region lies in the eastern Ghats of Odisha state. So, majorly here, granitic gneiss is available. Granitic gneiss is moderately to highly weathered generally at places, and completely weathered, jointed medium, weak to very weak at portal locations. Also, the granitic gneiss anticipated a tunnel grade is hard, massive, and compact. So we can very well conclude that more or less the strata that is being accumulated at the site is granitic gneiss with different UCS and GSI values. So analysis of tunnel is divided into three parts: geotechnical parameters, FE models, and structural design. So this is the basic geological profile of being tunnel 2 have been created as per the borehole data which have been done by uh, Rights Limited, and Hook and Brown criteria is being used through rock data software to compute CN5 values. So we can see from table 2 that we have an uh, phi of around 35 to 35, and the cohesion value is around 0.055 MP. That is generally a good good soil condition. We have not a very rocky strata, but we have an intermediate, as the overburden is low here. So we have intermediate soil properties. So FE model RS2 is being used for this 2D final element analysis, and RS2 is a very useful software used for a wide range of engineering projects including excavation design, slope stability, groundwater seepage, probability analysis, consolidation, and dynamic analysis capabilities. So it has all these capabilities. So this is being used for this arc-shaped cut and cover box tunnel. Here the procedure is, as initial check, model is prepared with tunnel excavated without any support. By the rock is competent, then excavation doesn't collapse and deformation are within limits. So it is basically a hit and trial. Firstly, we would be designing uh, and the external geometry, and we will be giving the tunnel dimensions, defining the geotechnical parameters, and then we will be checking how is the range of deformation. If it is under the factor of safety limit, then we don't need to give any support to it. But if it goes beyond that, then it needs support, and then we have different classes of support, like we can give short feet, um, lattice girder, wire meshing, or we can also give uh, rock bolts of different types. Generally we use SDR bolts for soil thing, and SN rock bolts for rocky strata. If the excavation collapses or the rock soil deformation are in the plastic range, then the model is simulated with next higher support class as discussed. Once the adequate support system is defined, the kinematic analysis is carried out and to check if the tunnel is stable against the local and wedge failures. That is being done in S-wedge and unwedge softwares. The analysis is carried out iteratively unless both global as well as kinematic stability is achieved. Basically, what we do is we design the tunnel on the basis of both the parameters, like the intact rock mass, intact soil conditions have been considered in the RS2 models, and the local wedge failures along the portal and tunnels have been also considered in kinematic analysis, which are being done by S-wedge and unwedge. So we can conclude that after these global and kinematic analysis is, if it is achieved, then we can very well conclude that it can be durable at for years to come. So generally in underground structures we design for a durability of around 100 years. Now if I talk about the results, then we can very well see that due to this arc shaped overt portion, it very well it uniformly takes the axial forces in this permanent lining with a value of around 835 kilonewton, and 103 kilonewton is from the base reactional force. Bending stresses due to this shape, the bending stresses comes to a very lower end, and the values are, as you can see, that they are very low in comparison, that I will be telling in the with the comparison with the rectangular cross section. Thirdly, the support capacity curves are also plotted, and we can very well see that the black dot here, we can see that it lies between the envelope. So we can conclude that the shear force moment with the thrust value have a factor of safety with a greater extent. Also, what we did is, as we know that the existing tunnel is around at a 30-meter offset, we designed the individual tunnel along with a second model was prepared in which the existing tunnel was also modeled with its support, and our proposed model was also modeled along with the seismic analysis that we can see here, that seismic zone 3 has been considered for the design. But overall, as we are going at an offset of 30 meters at the tunnel locations, so there is no effect and the failure envelope do not intersect with each other. So hence we can conclude that the construction of proposed tunnel is not overlapping with the or having any impact on the existing tunnel. So these are the bending and shear stresses of rectangular cross section, which I performed on STAAD analysis. The same overburden, the same lateral loadings have been applied, and we can see that due to this regular shape, the stresses at the ends of the intersection is very huge, 537 kilonewton meter. And when I designed for this section, I was getting a reinforcement of around 25 mm dia. But as we went to this arc-shaped section, my reinforcement reduced to around 12 mm dia with the same spacing. So we can just reduce the reinforcement quantity by just 50% if we just change the if we are choosing the right configuration for the tunnel. It is just an example, but I'm not saying it's a universal rule, but here I can conclude for this case that we have saved around 50% of reinforcement, along with the durability that I will be discussing in the later slides, that due to this arc-shaped overt section, we have reduced the considerable amount of construction, and also the durability of the overburden strata is also comfortably accounted, and in comparison to the rectangular cross section. So this is the tunnel support which have been done as per the slope stability analysis, and we have given shotcrete of around 200 mm with wire meshing on the slope profile, and these have been, and this we can very well see that this has an offset of around 30 meters, nearly 30 meters from the center line of existing fracture. So this is the construction sequence of cut and cover tunnel, in which what we do is we try to conclude that excavating the ground profile with a slope of 1 vertical to 1 horizontal in layers of depth 2 meters at a time, and providing additional support of shotcrete 200 mm thick and wire meshing of 150 by 150 by 6 in 2 layers at the slope for slope stability, which we have concluded in the previous slide. Excavation shall be carried out in a way that construction does not damage the existing tunnel and safety of the existing operation line. In construction sequence of this tunnel, casting of the base slab is done by providing dowels for side walls, lifting the walls in shifts. A detailed plan is being a detailed section sequence can be seen in my slide. And to counter the compression forces and minimize the bending moments, an arc shape is given uh, in place of the conventional roof slab that we give in the box structures. Lateral filling is done behind the walls and subsequently backfilling over the tunnel to provide natural drainage over the tunnel profile. So here, this is the basically the construction sequence that we can consider for this part. So for the conclusion thing, firstly, if I compare both the FEM models, the FEM model and the STAADPRO software that is widely used for designing, we can, for this type of structure, for tunnel specifically, we have three major disadvantages for which STAADPRO can't be used. Firstly, the foil structure interaction is not accounted in STAADPRO. Secondly, the hydrostatic pressure and the pressure released due to weep holes cannot be considered in STAADPRO. Thirdly, on importing of, there is an option for importing curved geometries, but when we import curved geometries, the nodes cannot be established on the curved profile. So vertical loads have to be applied considering a patch load, which is deviating from the real scenario. Actually, this is not like the load doesn't act like a patch; it acts uniformly. So these are the major disadvantages why STAADPRO is not recommended for tunnel designing, and for basic analysis also, the STAADPRO can't hold up the place. Now, if I talk about the configuration of the cross-sectional area, so I'm just giving you an example. Then the cross-sectional area of any tunnel is very crucial for tunnel design. As for purpose of comparison, I have taken 9-meter width, two-lane wide tunnel with approximately 9-meter width, inclusive of shoulder lanes 1 meter each, with each lane being 3.5 meter wide and 4.6 meters high. So this is the basic dimension that I have considered, and the entire cross-sectional area, if we consider for this circle, considering these values, the entire cross-sectional area would be 63.6 for circular tunnel, but for 63.6 for circular arc tunnel, whereas for rectangular it would be 41.4 only. If you see, there is a 25% decrement of area, less excavation area, so less construction cost for, if we just talk about the cost only. But in this regard, the circular shape would be needing a larger diameter in comparison to the rectangular tunnel. But even without this adjustment, the difference in volume per meter of the tunnel is around 22.2 meter cube. But this can't be the reason for concluding that if the excavation cost is less, then you must take the rectangular cross section. We have very well depicted that how much, if your tunnel length is large, then for a lesser excavation area, you can minimize the cost by giving a reduction in enforcement, and also the durability of an arc-shaped tunnel is comparatively very high than a conventional rectangular tunnel. So, and also the heavier sections are optimized in the case of arc-shaped tunnel, as the section in rectangular tunnel, which is coming 600 mm for the base slab and the walls, is being uh, optimized to around 200 to 300 mm with a 12 mm dia with the invert at the overt and the invert portion. So hence I conclude that the choice of tunnel shape is very predominant depending on the requirement of the project, and that entirely depends on the site specific conditions. But here we have concluded that if arc shaped overt with a U shaped invert is chosen for a similar tunnel, which is compared with a rectangular cross section, it is able to withstand more stresses and work efficient in construction and service stage analysis. These are the references that I have taken. Thank you.